How's it going, folks? Welcome back to the channel. Right, so today we are setting up for my next resin project, and that's some 50-year-old parquet flooring I've got there. It's some kind of Brazilian hardwood. That's back in the days when you could get Brazilian hardwood without some kind of ecological issue. And I picked this stuff up from a guy that I bought a load of yew off of eBay. And he was a nice guy. I ended up going back a couple of times. And when I picked up the second load, he gave me all this for free. It was enough to do, well, no, quite a lot of parquet flooring, really, that he'd had sat in his shed for 50 years. So it's nice and dry. And we're going for a vaguely spiral shape in the bottom of the bucket there. So I've put the full length in for a start, get as much in as I could. And then I've cut a load up to half length, just to fill some gaps. And then we're on to quarter length. I did one of these projects a while back, probably, I don't know, 20 or 30 videos ago. If you search back through the listings, you'll find the parquet flooring bowl. And that was back in the times when I didn't used to do narration mode, so it will be set to music. So some of you will like that and some of you won't. But if you want to have a look, it's back there somewhere. I think there must be 3 different woods in there. They're all different tones when it comes out. And I was just trying to fill as much of the space as possible. I didn't want to use endless amounts of resin. And the design I've got in my head is some kind of pedestal platter. You know, the kind of things that are sort of made out of glass that go on your table and you might put little cakes on. Well, I'm thinking that the top, you know, platter area is going to be this resin and wood section. And I've got some offcuts of bog oak, 7,000-year-old-ish bog oak. Nice and dry. I've had it in small strips, so over the last few weeks it's dried out, so I shouldn't have a problem with that this time, hopefully. Again, just trying to fill all those little gaps in as much as possible. Took a long time cutting up the wood, but I think it'll be worth it. It's a lovely day in England today. Just as we go on lockdown, the weather turns and it's almost like summer out there at the minute. It's beautiful. Okay, so this is the bit that now that I've done it, I'm wondering whether or not I've made a colossal mistake or whether it'll turn out alright. So that is some sawdust out the bottom of my bandsaw. All different types of wood, just to fill up any space. But what I'm thinking is it so dense that the resin will not penetrate and basically I'll just be left with a lumpy mess? Or is it going to do what I think it's going to do, which is to go between every little tiny bit of sawdust and make an interesting pattern? Well, time will tell. And featured on the channel today, we have Brad from Brad's Workbench. I'll put a link to his channel in the description of this video. And he's made this awesome little weed pot, or vase, or whatever you want to call it. And I asked him what type of wood it was, and he said it's a mystery wood. It fell down on his firewood pile, and he's made a lovely little vase out of it with some dark green resin. So yeah, I like it. Very well made. Thanks very much for sending it in. If you want to be featured on the channel, you can send your work to willmakeseverything@gmail.com. Cheers, Brad. Okay, so going on top of all the resin and stuff in the bottom of the bucket is a lump of sycamore. So I cut that round, it's about 250mm across, or 10 inches across, and I cut it on the bandsaw, and now I'm just truing up the face, and I'll make it round, and then we're going to put that in the bucket. That's going to become the base and the inside of the pedestal. Boing. I actually put it back on the lathe and made it a little bit smaller and put a taper on it because the bucket tapers. And I'm going to fill the gap on the outside with more parquet flooring that's been cut to the same height. And there is the top piece. That's just there to hold a 56-pound weight, stop anything from floating. So we're using glass cast 50 as always, and I've got some black aluminite, that's the one, aluminite dye going in, and I wanted it very black. You only really need 1 or 2 dots if you want a nice tint, but I've got 5 dots in there, so that's going to be very black indeed. So before anything started floating, I had to chuck that block in quite quickly. And now we have some more resin with brass powder, actual brass, and gold glitter. And because I wanted a lot of penetration, I'm going all the way up to 80 psi in the pressure pot there. So thanks very much for watching the video. Part 2 of this, and hopefully the completion of it, will be coming in a couple of days' time. And you might remember that I did a 100-year-old apple bowl. Well, I thought I'd show you the tree, just to prove that it is still standing and I didn't cut it down. There it is. It's a lovely old beast. You can see where that limb came off a long time ago. And it still, every year, gives hundreds of apples. Hundreds and hundreds. So there we go. I'll leave you to it. Thanks very much for watching the video, and I'll see you tomorrow. Cheers.